From the station working for you, this is an RTV6 special report.
We are, make no mistake about it, at war with COVID-19, and we will win this war.
Strong words from the governor of Indiana after announcing the state's first death related to the coronavirus. RTV6's special 11 p.m. coverage, Coronavirus, Everything You Need to Know, continues tonight. It has been another day of major announcements related to COVID-19. Health officials say the person who died in Indiana was a Marion County resident and was considered a high-risk patient over the age of 60. And as the outbreak widens, so do restrictions aimed at preventing the spread of the virus.
Yeah, Governor Eric Holcomb announced new guidelines today, and under the order, hospitals and ambulatory surgical centers should cancel and/or postpone elective and non-urgent surgical procedures immediately. No in-person events of more than 50 people are recommended either. Bars, nightclubs, and restaurants are required to close to in-person customers through the end of the month. Takeout and delivery services may be offered. The governor shared this message for anyone who thinks these steps are an overreaction.
Everything we're doing today, social distancing, self or directed isolation, as extreme as those measures may seem, are effective. We know that from experience around the world.
Following the governor's order, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett also issued orders prohibiting all public gatherings of 50 or more people and closing Indianapolis bars and nightclubs that do not serve food, as well as movie theaters, entertainment venues, and fitness facilities.
And while the tables at local restaurants were empty tonight, a meeting of local restaurant professionals filled every seat at a meeting in Broad Ripple in response to the new restrictions. About 100 people attended the meeting hosted by the Leader House. While they agree that closing down dining to the public is necessary, they are petitioning the government to provide financial assistance to restaurants, provide special unemployment benefits to restaurant employees who are laid off, and help the local restaurant industry transition to an affordable catering model that they say will be beneficial to the restaurant industry and community as a whole.
We're hoping that the government will see that, that it would be a good idea to help out restaurants to pay for their unemployment for the people that they have to lay off.
Everyone here is on a new game plan of how to get your restaurants ready and how to provide safe meals for the entire community.
There is some worry that the grocery supply chain is not going to be able to meet the demand, and the restaurants are going to have to pick up the slack.
The group tells RTV6 that Mayor Hogsett will meet with the group at the Leader House tomorrow evening.
While workers in the restaurant industry are worried about making a living under these new restrictions, others are worried about making ends meet if they get sick. Roughly a third of Hoosier workers do not get any paid sick leave. That creates a hardship for workers like Desiree Edwards. She works in fast food to help her family make ends meet. But if she gets sick or her children get sick, she has to take time off unpaid.
Do you worry about a sickness facing your family?
Yes, I do, because I come in contact with people through the drive-thru, and you never know who comes through that drive-thru that may have the sickness as well. And not everybody's going to fess up to whether they have it or not. Who wants people to know that they have a virus that is going to affect other people?
The governor's office said this afternoon that he's looking at all options to address the impact on Hoosier workers. U.S. Congress is also working on legislation related to paid sick leave. And to anyone who may lose their job during this outbreak, the Indiana Department of Workforce Development is reminding Hoosiers that you can apply for unemployment benefits on a computer or smartphone. For more information on unemployment insurance, go to unemployment.in.gov.
A little earlier, we mentioned new mandates handed down by Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett. His executive order declares a local disaster emergency and issues a watch-level local travel advisory across Marion County. RTV6's Cameron Riddle explains what that means.
Well, good evening. Marion County is now under a travel advisory. And while that may sound scary, the mayor's office reminds you that is not a restriction. The mayor's office says the travel advisory is simply a recommendation, just as if it was during a snowstorm. The advisory is against traveling except when essential, such as when going to and from work, in emergency situations, or when getting food or medicine. Meanwhile, the thousands of people who are depending on Indigo for their daily transportation and still do need to get around can count on the buses being clean. In a social media video, Indigo says the buses are cleaned every day, but tell RTV6 the frequency of cleaning and sterilization of both buses and their facilities has increased, all in an effort to slow the spread of coronavirus. Extra staffers are also being brought in, and so that the cleaning doesn't interrupt bus routes. You might have also noticed bus drivers wearing masks as they drive their route. Indigo says those are not required, nor are they provided. They say it is drivers taking extra precaution on their own. And so with that said, Indigo is now asking you as passengers to do what you can to control the situation and take your own precautions. That means washing your hands or using hand sanitizer anytime you get on and off of one of the buses. Downtown at the Transit Center, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Cameron, thank you for that. And Fisher's Mayor Scott Fadness is also declaring a local disaster emergency in response to the pandemic. The order, effective at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, also limits travel. For more info, go to theindychannel.com and click on this story.
We've covered new social and travel restrictions and recommendations related to the coronavirus outbreak. The availability of testing for COVID-19 is also a major issue. A central Indiana family is now dealing with the harsh reality that not everyone who thinks they may have the coronavirus is able to get tested to truly confirm it. They spoke with RTV6's Cornelius Hawker about the fear of not knowing for sure if they have the virus.
I've been trying to get tested since Friday, I think.
Dan Hassel has had symptoms associated with COVID-19 since returning from a business trip in Hartford, Connecticut last week. He tells me someone he came in contact with tested positive for coronavirus. Others who are just like Dan have been able to get testing fairly easy.
Most of them are from the Northeast, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. We were on a conference call and they said, oh yeah, well I just went through a drive-through and they tested me.
We don't have that here in Indiana. So Dan and his wife Amanda, who's also starting to develop symptoms, are left in limbo because the medical professionals they've talked to, going off current guidance from the CDC, won't recommend them for testing because they aren't in bad shape. But still, it's unsettling for the couple who help family members like Amanda's parents that are in their 90s, a high-risk group for the disease that they've had to stop seeing for now. On top of that, they're about to welcome a new grandbaby here soon.
My daughter-in-law didn't know because they're supposed to do her C-section in a special room if she's been exposed. If somebody in my family gets it and I've had it and, I have immunity for a certain period of time, I can go and help take care of them. But I don't know for sure until I'm tested.
Despite past health problems and being 63, Dan feels like he's going to be fine. But he wants our government officials, especially the ones here in the state, to see the shortcomings of this situation and learn from them so we're better prepared when this happens again.
The bottom line is I'm going to get fine. It's a pain being sick, but I'm going to be fine. If this was something that people were really dying of left and right, holy moly, we'd really be in trouble.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
And now to what local hospitals are doing to protect patients and staff members against the new coronavirus and prepare for a possible influx of patients. Many have announced major changes to their visitation policies. Franciscan Health has check-in stations, and they are only allowing one healthy adult visitor per patient. Visitors are only allowed in certain departments like labor and delivery, the NICU, and outpatient surgery.
Ball State is the latest university in central Indiana to shut down their dorms. The university says Residence Hall will close starting Sunday, March 29th. Earlier today, IUPUI told students not to return to campus if they've left the city or campus for spring break. You can find more details about those changes on our website at theindychannel.com.
Well, that's not the only way the coronavirus outbreak is impacting college students. New at 11 tonight, we're hearing from an Indiana University student who is among the thousands of college students forced to cut their study abroad program short.
I'm a junior in the Kelley School of Business at IU, and I'm studying economic consulting and public policy analysis. And I studied abroad for this semester in Barcelona, Spain. The reason I decided to study abroad was because my school really emphasizes the benefits and advantages of getting an intercontinental experience. Being abroad is a really out-of-body experience in a lot of ways. You're very independent. We knew going abroad that the coronavirus was starting to gain some momentum all over the world, but it was still a very minor problem for a lot of us study abroad students. We were emphasized by our program, by our school, to practice safe and healthy measures like washing your hands and just being overall healthy, getting sleep, drinking water. Trying to get back to Houston was very difficult. Unexpectedly, United decided to cancel my flight home because of the CDC saying that certain airports in the U.S. were not capable of handling that international screening of taking temperature and screening us to enter back into the U.S. And it was really scary because I didn't know what to do. All of a sudden, a lot of the flights were getting canceled. And thankfully, my mother was there for me and called me and was FaceTiming me and was buying flights. And I was thankfully able to get on a flight that very day. It was very crazy because I only had an hour and a half layover between my next flight so I could get home here in Houston, and I was not the only one in that predicament. There was lots of families and couples and study abroad students that were trying to get a connecting flight to get to their final destination. And it was a little harrowing because the CDC people are, they have a lot of stress on them, but they weren't exactly being amazingly helpful through the process. It was just very stressful for everyone because people knew that they were about to miss their flights. But I feel like they handled it as well as they could. So just filled with so much joy, so blessed to be back home. Like I said, a lot of my friends are still not back home, and just to be safe back home, it was just made my heart swell. I started to tear up again, of course. I was texting my mom. I was like, I made it. Please come get me. Please come get me. My parents came and picked me up right away.
Well, IU has canceled some foreign language programs that were not scheduled to start until the summer.
Rain chances going way up, not tomorrow. We'll get into the timing of when the rain arrives Wednesday and sticks around for Thursday, and the spring surprise in my forecast.
Donation or volunteer today.
From the station working for you, this is an RTV6 special report.
New at 11, one retailer is asking the community to observe special shopping hours for senior citizens who are most vulnerable to COVID-19. Dollar General is dedicating the first hour of operations to seniors. Other customers are encouraged to plan their shopping trips around that window of time. Store hours vary by location.
The coronavirus outbreak is bringing out the best in some people. ABC's Romina Puga shows how high-profile celebrities and everyday volunteers are stepping up during this difficult time.
As the nation continues to take precaution against COVID-19, people are stepping up to help those affected. With schools closing around the country, many children who normally receive meals during school hours are left without. This week, school districts are providing families with food to get them through these next few weeks.
This is something they need, and we're happy to be here for them.
This school in Oakland, California closed its doors on Friday, but opened today to pass out groceries to their students' families.
We've got thousands of kids that every day depend on breakfast, on lunch, and some even on supper program after school. So this is something that our staff is very ready to do.
The volunteers say they're keeping a distance, washing their hands and wearing gloves, and will continue to do this twice a week. Throughout this crisis, concerns surrounding affected workers like arena employees. But sports teams and leagues have vowed to support employees through the canceled games. Like Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban, who committed to paying all workers inside American Airlines Center.
Because now that the games are suspended, they're not going to have that income, and so that just wasn't right to me.
Major League Baseball and their players' union announced a joint $1 million donation to help fight hunger from related school closures and quarantines. And on an individual level, New Orleans Pelicans player Zion Williamson is the latest player to donate, announcing on Instagram he'll cover the salaries of the Smoothie King Center workers for 30 days. Officials say this is an evolving situation, but these schools, teams, and players stepping up to help their communities speak volumes that we're all in this together. In Los Angeles, Romina Puga, ABC News.
And a reminder, school districts around central Indiana are still providing healthy meals for kids. While classes are canceled due to the coronavirus outbreak, that includes Indianapolis Public Schools. IPS is providing free breakfast and lunch through April 3rd. Food will be distributed between 11 to 1 Monday through Friday at the 7 locations on your screen. Meal service is open to all kids age 18 and younger, including students who are not in the IPS district. The district's mobile truck, the Bus Stop Cafe, will also offer meals through April 3rd at 2 apartment complexes, Blackburn Terrace from 11 to 11:30 and Laurelwood Apartments from 12:30 to 1. And some food pantries are still serving the community with some changes. Westminster Neighborhood Services on the Near East Side of Indianapolis is modifying how it provides food to people in need. Its pantry is now a walk-up service, and there will be no warm meals served. Representatives say the impact of the coronavirus outbreak is hitting many clients hard.
You can hear the panic in their voice. They don't know what they're going to do. They don't know where their next meal's going to come from. You can hear the worry. You can definitely hear the worry. Most of our neighbors, not all of them, but most of them already kind of live in that low income, and with income maybe being taken away because they don't have to stay home with their kids, it definitely increases that. So they're worried.
Westminster is working on securing to-go meals to give out in place of the soup kitchen meals that are usually served. Kevin.
11:19, temperatures tomorrow in the 50s, barely. I think we'll just make a step forward tomorrow, but then a more significant move on the thermometer as we get to the end of the work week. This will come with rain, maybe even some spring-like thunderstorms on Thursday. Right now, rainfall, heavy rainfall, more of a threat than any severe weather as the ground is pretty saturated, so any additional rain just increases some flooding risk. Tomorrow, we're dry. We'll play the game between clouds and sunshine. Then the rain returns Wednesday and Thursday with a diminishing chance as we get to Friday. 3 different computer models all hinting at a good solid 1 to 2 inches of rain. That will get us through Friday morning. That's really from Wednesday morning to Friday morning. As far as the day tomorrow, a little different feel. Obviously, the St. Patrick's Day, temperature around 50 with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. I think we'll begin to see more sunshine late in the day tomorrow, and not too windy. The wind out of the northwest 5 to 10. Average temperature this time of the year, low 50s, close to that to the north. Central Indiana in the ballpark as well. To the south, mid 50s. These are base temperatures from which will continue to warm up after that. Okay, Wednesday, when we get started, your drive to work likely dry. Then it turns wet once we get to late morning through the afternoon hours. That rain at times may be a little bit heavy as far as our hour-to-hour forecast. Don't forget the RTV6 app and the Storm Shield app. They're free. You can get the forecast there as well and be in control of radar and receive any severe weather notifications whenever we step closer into severe weather season. Through the day, especially the afternoon, is when the rain becomes likely, and here it is. 1 o'clock in the afternoon Wednesday, overspreading central Indiana. It's widespread soaking rain. That will be the first of at least a couple waves of rain that will move through in that time frame of Wednesday through Friday morning. We've made the transition seasonally to spring. We're almost there. Spring officially begins on Thursday at 11:50 at night. And that's our warmest day as well. Temperature 68 for the high. A couple of thunderstorms accompany the rain as a cold front will push our way Friday and do this. Knock our temperatures back into the 30s for highs Saturday, 46 on the Sunday. As we found out with the snow that we had on Saturday, nothing sticks around too long this time of year, so we move on quickly. Temperature peaks Thursday. We hit rock bottom Saturday with 38-degree temperature, morning lows in the 20s, and then we start to move it back into the 50-degree range by Monday of next week.
Kevin, thank you. NASCAR fans will have to wait a few weeks longer to maybe see some racing action this spring. The series is extending its layoff due to the coronavirus. NASCAR announced Monday that it is postponing all of its top-level events through April. The May 3rd race at Martinsville could be next. Officials say they're still planning to run all 36 races on the schedule. March Madness is not happening this year, and that's left some local teams and players on the sideline far too soon. Sports anchor Brad Brown has a closer look.
Today should have been about the brackets. Instead, the madness of March, it's not happening. The IUPUI women's basketball team should have been hearing their name called in the field of 64 for the first time.
In the short term, this is going to be a gut-wrenching. But the long term, 15, 20 years from now, you get to look back and say, I won my last college game. I played my best in my last college game.
The Jaguars had just a single senior on this year's team, so they'll have another strong shot next season. But this team won't get the shot they earned.
as I was talking to Holly last night on the phone, it felt almost like a death, very unexpected. And, I know the kids had really been excited about that opportunity because I know they were excited about the challenge of playing, probably a Power 5 team in their arena.
The Marion women's team was a #1 seed at the NAIA National Tourney. The Knights had already won their first-round game when the rest of the tourney was canceled.
Brad, it was honestly the hardest conversation I think I've ever had with a team. More so than losing your last game, to not even have a chance to lose your last game. That was rough. One of our kids said it best, it's everything for nothing.
A trio of seniors with their careers cut short, and for the rest, having to go forward with the unknown of how it all could have ended.
A lot of teams, are out here for the same goal, but, we can truly speak that we honestly felt like we had the best team in the country, and we had a chance to be playing March 17th, and we had a chance to bring that red banner home.
And it's that unknown, much like most things right now, that will be the lasting impression of this March. Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
If we don't roll, then y'all don't eat. No toilet paper, no nothing on the shelves, so we got to keep going.
They're some of the unsung heroes of the coronavirus crisis, truck drivers, how they are stepping up to provide essential goods for the country and what's being done to help protect their health.
It's a deal you don't want to miss, so click, call, or visit a store today.
From the station working for you, this is an RTV6 special report.
Truck drivers have become even more essential during the coronavirus outbreak. The response to the spread of COVID-19 is emptying grocery store shelves across the country. Scripps reporter Zach Herrig explains that's putting a heavy burden on truckers across the nation.
The entire world has been affected by coronavirus in one way or another.
If we don't roll, then y'all don't eat. No toilet paper, no nothing on the shelves, so we got to keep going.
The trucking industry is no different. Whether the trailers are hauling food, steel, or auto parts, it's all important in a time like this.
I think I'm kind of lucky because I flatbed and haul steel. I'm sure other places, they're hauling, reefers, they're hauling food and whatnot. That's going to hit. I got a feeling it's going to be really bad.
And at truck stops across the nation, precautions are being taken to protect truckers as well.
You get to the truck stops and they're taking extra precautions to wipe things down hourly with disinfectants, using new cups versus your refilling your own insulated cups.
Alabama native Torrid Jackson is a runner for Amazon and drives thousands of miles every week. He says the virus is a bit of a scare for someone who travels as much as him.
It's kind of like a spook. They try to spook you, but we can't afford to let it spook us because if the wheels don't turn, we can't feed our families. So the wheel got to keep turning, It's just, they hope and pray that you don't get it.
And while he's on the road, Jackson is hoping his family can remain healthy.
Feed your family and take care of home, and pray it don't come your way. That's all we can do.
And that was Zach Herrig reporting. On Friday, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb signed an executive order to lift regulations on commercial vehicles transporting goods to retailers. The order temporarily waives rules that limit the number of hours drivers of those vehicles can work in a single day. We'll be right back with more of RTV6 News at 11 and our special report, Coronavirus, everything you need to know.
Call 1-877, only ATT.
You can still find everything you need to know about the coronavirus after the news at 11. For more information, go to our website, theindychannel.com/coronavirus.
Should be dry for your drive to work. Temperatures just slowly make their move into the lower 40s. Late morning should be in the 50-degree range in the afternoon.
Thanks for joining us for RTV6 News at 11. Good morning, Indiana. Comes your way at 4:30.